Having completed walking the Camino Frances ourselves, today we're going to share our top 25 photo-worthy moments that you are not going to want to miss in order to remember your own Camino vibe. And if you stick around to the end of the video, we're going to share a couple of extra little bonus tips.
Now, the very first picture you're going to want to get starts right in St. John Piedaport. First day, when you get that very first stamp from the volunteer in your Camino passport.
Now we're talking about taking pictures, but of course you can take video too of any of these things depending on what your preference is. But the next thing you're going to want to maybe think about is getting pictures of your shoes and maybe your backpack. It can be kind of fun to see the journey that your gear goes on from your nice new shoes to what they look like at the end. I know there are people who take a picture of their shoes every single day as they go, so you can really see the wear and tear on them. We didn't do that, but we did take a couple of pictures. You might want to do that too.
Still in St. John Piedaport, before you start your walk, there is the iconic beginning where you cross through an arch and over a beautiful bridge. Both of these places make great photos.
Once you've arrived to Roncesvalles, probably one of the most iconic photos you're going to want to get is in front of the street sign that has the mileage all the way to Santiago. This is a picture everyone takes. You are not going to want to get left out.
Just before Zubiri, there is a stream you have to cross, and to get across, there is a series of concrete pillars that you will hop one to the next. That's another great place for a photo.
Another photo that I didn't think a lot about at the time after Zubiri, there is a sign that says "Welcome to Basque Country" that's been painted on the back of a building that you walk by. I did take the picture, but since I have seen so many other people that took that picture as well, and it's just kind of fun to have that memory.
Next, we come to the famous city of Pamplona, and here there are a lot of photo opportunities. The walls as you enter the city, the cathedral, but I think our favorite was taking a picture with the statue of the running of the bulls.
Leaving Pamplona, you're going to arrive at another one of those iconic places, the Alto de Perdón. This is a beautiful hilltop with a very famous set of statues. There's pilgrim art all through the Camino that we're going to talk about some of the other ones. This is definitely one you're going to want to get some pictures in front of. If you're enjoying this video, we would really appreciate it if you would go ahead and hit that like button. That kind of engagement just really helps out our channel.
Now, along the entire route, you're going to find lots of beautiful stone bridges. All of them are worth photos. But my favorite comes in Puente la Reina, and this bridge is absolutely gorgeous.
Another very iconic experience of the Camino Frances is stopping at the wine fountain in Arache. This is about 4 kilometers past the city of Estella, where you can stop and potentially get a little glass of wine if you are not there too early in the morning before they open. But it is a great place to stop and get a photograph.
One thing you're going to see over and over as you walk the Camino is art depicting pilgrims. This comes in the form of murals on walls and statues. One of our very favorite statues that we got photos of was the ones in Logroño. But you will find statues in almost every city along the way. Some are seated, some are walking, some are drinking water. You will see them everywhere.
One photo moment that we did not know about before we got there is the Cross of Atapuerca. This is just outside of town on a hillside. We had the good fortune of getting there just as this big fog was lifting, which made it very beautiful. We got some great photos there. It might be a place for you to check out as well.
Now, here's a kind of silly one, but it is something that many people we talked to didn't notice at all and walked right by. There is a giant hand just outside of Fromista, in a lot on the side of the road. Keep an eye open and you might find it.
This next one I'm going to talk about is kind of a group one, but many of the cities along the way have some kind of photo opportunity for you to take a picture with the name of the city. So whether you're in León or Sarria or Triacastela, Carrion de los Condes had one, Fromista, there's a whole bunch of them. And it's just kind of a fun photo op to take a picture of yourself, a selfie in front of that sign.
This next one is possibly my favorite site along the entire Camino, and it is the long stone bridge that enters the city of Hospital de Órbiga. It is absolutely beautiful, and I took about 1 million pictures of it.
Now, along the way, you're going to come to a lot of drinking fountains where you can fill your water bottles, but my favorite one is in the town of San Justo de la Vega, right before Astorga. As you fill your water, there is also a statue, and when you turn the water on, it also gets water to go into the mouth of the pilgrim. It is just a fun, very silly statue that you're going to want to stop at.
Now we come to one of the most popular moments along the Camino, Cruz de Ferro, or the Iron Cross. This is a tall pillar with an iron cross at the top, and it is known as being the place where pilgrims will leave a stone and leave their worries behind. Now, it's a great place to take a photo, but be respectful because this is a very meaningful place to a lot of the pilgrims.
Along the Camino, you're going to come across many very beautiful buildings you might want to photograph. There are churches and cathedrals all along the way. There's the Gaudi Palace in Astorga that is beautiful. But I think one of my favorites is the castle in Ponferrada. There are other castles along the way. There's one in Castro Harris, but the one in Ponferrada is just big and beautiful and a great place to get a picture in front of.
After the town of Vega de Valcarce, you enter Galicia, and to commemorate it, there is a beautifully decorated marker that you can get a photo with.
Toward the end of the Camino, you're going to be coming across a lot of stone markers along the way that let you know how many kilometers you have to go until you reach Santiago. One of the most iconic of them is just after you leave Sarria, and you get to the marker that lets you know you have 100 kilometers to go. Definitely get a picture here. Have another pilgrim take a picture for you. Now, one thing to note is many of these markers are written in metal, which do not photograph. We took a lot of pictures of the other ones and you can't read the mileage on them. But this one you can get a picture of, so make sure you don't miss it. Now, along the way, you're going to see lots of other things you might want to take pictures of, the different arrows, the different shells and signs along the way, pointing you along the way. These are just fun memories to have. Take pictures of whatever you want.
As you pass through the Galicia region, you will see all of these unusual structures. They look like little houses on stilts, and they're really quite beautiful. We had no idea what these were, but we found out that they're called orreos, and they are used for storing grain. Everyone talks about these, so taking a photo will give you a great memory.
Another one we're going to recommend is one that we missed. We didn't make it there, but as you come into Santiago, there's a little detour you can take that takes you up to the top of a little hill, like an overlook over the city. I think there are some statues there, and you can see across the town of Santiago, including the cathedrals. You can see your destination in the distance. It is about 1 kilometer of a detour to get over to there. We did a double stage the last day. We weren't able to make it over there, but we've seen pictures that other people have had, and they look really great. If you have it in you to do that detour, we probably recommend going over there and getting those pictures.
We've already spoken about taking pictures with city signs, but this is the iconic one that you cannot miss. As you enter the town of Santiago, you will pass right by it. Snap a photo.
Now, David and I are not Instagram photographers. We just take pictures of things that we like or of things that we want to remember. However, I'm going to give you this one Instagram photo because everyone takes it and you might as well too. But when you finally make it into the plaza in front of the cathedral, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be happy, you're going to be sad, you're going to be feeling all these feelings. It's amazing. But at the far side across the plaza, there is a building with a bunch of arches. And everyone goes into these arches and takes pictures of themselves sitting on the ground looking out over to the cathedral. This is not a difficult picture to take, but it is kind of a fun one to have just because everyone does it. So make sure you get your own picture here.
You'll end your Camino by getting your Compostela at the Pilgrim's office. Why not commemorate that moment with a photograph? We chose to go back to the cathedral and we got some photos with our Compostela and some pictures with our pilgrim credentials.
So this has been a list of some of the very iconic places, some of the very common places that people take pictures, some of those things that we saw that affected us. But there are a lot of other ones. We're going to give you some bonus tips here of other things you might come across that you might want to get pictures of. So some of them are going to be like You're gonna see funny signs as you go along. Now there's a conversation to have about graffiti on the Camino. This is probably not that place, but some of the signs are funny, and if you wanna get some pictures of those, you might wanna do that. There is a lot of murals, beautiful murals as you go through the different cities. We definitely enjoyed getting a lot of pictures of those murals because it's just a great memory to have.
You also might come across a lot of inspirational signs. People will write messages, sometimes on stones on the ground. You'll find lots of things that will inspire you.
Basically, if it's meaningful to you, take a picture of it because you're gonna want to remember it later. Everything goes by so fast. If you don't take a picture of it, you're gonna have a hard time remembering it later. Another thing you might want to take pictures of is the long fence of crosses. Now, we saw several of these along the way, but there is a big one outside of Ravenel del Camino. Later along the Camino, you will see where someone put up a sign saying, "Please don't do this on my fence," which I thought was kind of funny. But there's like the giant bull that I think is just before Navarrete. You pass a canal.
The handprints in the sidewalks in Bellarado, the chicken church.
There's a couple places where we passed dolls. One was on the very first day as we were crossing the Pyrenees. Another one was inside of a window in an attic, kind of peering out as we walked by. There's things like that that you're gonna see. Maybe not everybody else is gonna see it, but if it's important to you, take a picture so that you can remember it later.
This one we probably don't even have to mention. Take pictures of the scenery. In fact, you probably won't even be able to control yourself. You won't be able to stop yourself from taking pictures of the scenery because it is so gorgeous. Get pictures of yourself in front of it, walking through it, enjoying it.
I think that's an important point, is take pictures of you walking it, whether it's selfies or if you get your buddy to take a picture of you. We realized a lot of the way through, we were getting a lot of pictures of beautiful grassy hills and farms, and we didn't have that many pictures of ourselves. So we tried to get better at that as we went along, but there are gonna be sunrises and sunsets. You go through so many different areas where you've got red dirt, or in the Meseta, or the beautiful hills of Galicia.
The wildflowers that are just stunning.
Yes, get pictures of it all because you're gonna want to remember. A couple of other things that you might want to take pictures of that you might not think about beforehand is getting pictures of places you eat. Get pictures of every place you stay. Get a picture of the bed that you slept in as you go along, because you forget these things. They all blend together. By the end, you're not going to remember what they were, but it's kind of fun afterwards to be able to talk about it and to be able to share with other people where you were and what you did. And if you don't have a picture of it, I promise you, you're not going to remember it. Because we had the YouTube channel, we were good and we did get pictures of those, and I'm very grateful for it. And the last thing that I absolutely like, if you don't listen to anything else that we said today, the most important thing you need to take pictures of is all of the people that you meet.
And do it right away, as soon as you meet them, because you may never see them again. And it'll be a relationship you want to remember.
Some of these people you're going to meet and you're going to talk to them over dinner, and maybe you'll see them for a couple of weeks as you travel along together. And other people you're going to talk to on the trail for 10 minutes, and then they're going to go ahead and you're never going to see them again. Take pictures. It feels kind of awkward. I think that's why we were so bad at it, because we just didn't want to be bugging people. But once we thought about it and started asking people, no one ever told us no. Usually they said, "Oh, can I get a picture too?" Because everybody wants to remember. This is such a meaningful experience, and the people that you meet along the way are going to be your absolute best memories you have of the whole thing. Take pictures of the people that you meet. I hope this video has given you some inspiration on which pictures you might want to take to commemorate your own Camino. We shot videos every single day that we were walking the Camino. I will put a link to that playlist right over here.
Today and not tomorrow.